my name is Sarah Zoltash.
I'm Ronan Harrington.
And this is XRTV. Tonight on the show, we have for you stories from today's protest at Trafalgar Square. We have some footage from the XR Youth protest outside of YouTube's headquarters. We're also going to see some scenes from Tuesday where the mood was very different in Trafalgar Square and in Vauxhall Pleasure Gardens, and also some real tearjerker moments from the XR grandparents.
So Sarah, can I just clarify, are you arrestable right now?
No.
So that's going to present a bit of an issue, because right now we're in the epicenter of being arrested. We're at the heart of Section 14, where apparently if you congregate in a crowd of two, you might just get sent to jail. So
Are you arrestable?
yeah, I am. So I'm okay, but I worry for you.
Yeah, I'm not super up for that, to be honest. When you look around here, it doesn't really seem like the police are actually gonna do anything.
Look at that man walking with the air of a kind of casualism that would suggest that the police are not going to do anything at all. So we're in a weird dilemma where the police have issued a ban on anyone with an XR badge gathering together, and yet because it's such a ridiculous idea, they've planned to do nothing. But we thought we'd put it to the test by deliberately doing the tried and tested tactic of sitting down on a road together.
So we're gonna sit down.
Yeah, and you're going to sit down with us. You're going to join us.
We're becoming more arrestable by the second.
The closer you get to the ground, the more likely you are to go to jail.
There's some pink pillows. Yes, lucky us. And you know, we are really lucky. We're really lucky to be living in the European Union, because that means that we do have the right to peaceful protest. And thousands of people gathered here today in Trafalgar Square to demonstrate that right.
If anyone needed proof that thousands of Extinction Rebellion activists were prepared to get arrested during this fortnight of peaceful protest, they need look no further than the events of Trafalgar Square on Wednesday afternoon. Gathering in defiance of a Section 14 order issued by the Metropolitan Police on Monday night, hundreds of demonstrators stood side by side, knowing full well that it could result in their arrest. Any assembly of more than 2 people linked to the Extinction Rebellion action is now illegal in London. But as protesters gathered for a special People's Assembly on the steps below the National Gallery, it was clear that the protest ban had not had the desired effect. Their message to the authorities was a simple one: we will not be silenced.
Yeah, I think it's really important for us to gather here because it's people's right to protest and speak what they feel they feel. And it's not any right of the government to stop people from peacefully protesting, which is what we're doing here. And the police or anybody else shouldn't stop the people, silence people's voice.
I think it's important that we gather here, even though there's been a public ban in the media, really, more than in legal terms, because that's up for dispute, because we have a right to protest.
The government seem to have this idea that you can protest as long as it doesn't actually make any difference, and you know, we've got to be here. The more they say go away, the stronger we've got to be. So this action of defiance is basically saying we're not going. You've got to listen.
We've had the People's Assembly in Trafalgar Square. Now, interestingly, talking to the police on the scene there, they're not going to intervene there. There's far too many people, and I think they realise it would be a PR disaster if they were to start enforcing the conditions, the Section 14 conditions on Trafalgar Square, when they know that there's a judicial review going on today about the legality of that particular move.
After the speeches, a small group of rebels split off from the crowd and sat in the road at the end of Whitehall to patiently await their arrest. Among them were Green Party co-leader Jonathan Bartley and author George Monbiot, who wrote in a Guardian column published just hours before, "We have only one strength, our vulnerability. By putting our bodies on the line and risking our liberty, we make this great neglected issue impossible to ignore."
So now under arrest, which is the best place to be when we're facing planetary disaster. At the moment, we are facing the destruction of life on Earth, the destruction of our life support systems. So to stand up against that destruction, I feel is our human duty. By being arrested in defence of the living planet, I feel I can look my children and maybe one day my grandchildren in the eye.
Monbiot got arrested. He's like the patron saint of the climate crisis.
He's our patron saint of the climate crisis.
Okay, yeah, I know it's like non-hierarchical and everything, but like, he's definitely an icon.
So who would you love to rock up to the rest of the rebellion as like kind of a high-profile figure to get arrested? Who would be like your dream person?
Sylvester Stallone.
I would love if all of Blazing Squad reunited in their parkas and all were somehow radicalized.
Backstreet Boys, they're definitely doing the rounds.
Yeah, I'd also obviously Bill Murray. I'd love Bill Murray just to kind of wander in.
Bill Murray's just like here in our hearts right now. Who else?
I thought like maybe that like Obama would just like somehow realize in the last 2 weeks that conventional policy process doesn't work and just give it a punt of being arrested.
I mean, haven't we all realised that conventional policy process doesn't work? What about Cher? Oh my days! I would
like Cher quite a lot.
I love Cher. Well, I mean, I feel like we're kind of showing our age here with the different celebs we're picking. Today, the XR Youth definitely had a message that was coming right from the forefront of this movement. They went and protested outside YouTube's headquarters in King's Cross to really hold them to account for the power they have over public opinion. I'm outside YouTube's offices, where XR Youth's planned action is going ahead to great success. You can see just behind me that there are some people on the top of the revolving doors of the offices with a great big banner demanding that YouTube stop platforming climate deniers. In the road, people are sat in the middle of the zebra crossing, blocking all traffic.
Thank you so much everyone for coming here today and helping to tell the truth. And now together, demand that YouTube tells the truth. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
The irony of hundreds of people filming themselves on smartphones to protest YouTube's platforming of climate deniers is not lost on anyone here.
Fight for climate justice! Fight for climate justice! Hey, oh, take me by the hand.
The helicopters have come, and I'm at the back entrance of Google trying to speak to any of their workers to see the effect that the disruption has had on them today, but all of them are coming out and they're saying, sorry, I can't talk to you, my job is at risk, but I'm in big support of the rebellion and keep going.
We really do not have time for climate denial. There is about 2% of scientists who believe this is true. 98% of scientists think this climate crisis is real. Even if that 2% happened to be right, all we would have done is clean up the earth. We're not going to have any bad effects from that at all. It's only going to be good things. You wouldn't walk on a bridge if 98% of scientists said that it was going to fall.
I do understand that YouTube is a platform that shares lots of content, and them censoring an issue like climate change may lead other groups to also ask for other things that may or may not be as concrete and like important to be also be censored.
Clickbait! YouTube! Clickbait! YouTube! 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 Clickbait! 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 YouTube! 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 Clickbait! 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 I went down to Facebook with you, and I took back what is over me, and I took back my dignity, and I took back my humanity.
So I'm the presenter of XR TV. Your rebellion has set up its own TV channel so that we at least can tell the truth. And I just want to point this at you all. And just, if you want to show your love for your own rebellion and the way that your rebellion tells the truth, do it now. Big love, you're doing so well. YouTube, Google, Facebook, Instagram, all of the social media channels have the power to shift public understanding around climate change, and at the moment they are platforming climate deniers as if that is a responsible thing to do. If you have great power, you have to hold great responsibility, and XR Youth understand this. XR Youth, I've been here today to hold YouTube to account. We're going to see more and more actions that ask not just for governments to enact the power that they have to change the system, but to ask for changes in the ways that these private organisations, these private corporations regulate themselves. The choices that they make inside those buildings are just the choices of human beings. And if they wanted to choose to prioritise the climate crisis in their broadcast agenda, they could. That's an important thing to remember as we stand in solidarity here with XR Youth today. This is Sarah Zoltash for XR TV.
I've been a bit mopey because Ronan's disappeared. I don't know if he's been arrested or where he's gone. Sometimes a rebellion is kind of sad. You have a friend one minute and then the next, you don't know what's happened to them. Before Ronan left, he'd been collecting questions from the rebels as a sort of rebel agony aunt. He left these few words for us. So first question for Rebel Agony Aunt, what is the best protein snack? It's a good question, you know, because I can't have sugar because of my epilepsy, so a lot of the protein snacks are sort of like out of bounds for me. And we've got some Baron Guard, do you know what that one is? I don't know, there's like, maybe you know, if you know of some good protein snacks that will help the rebels be able to hold their ground, write in the comments and we can distribute that information to more people. What else do we have here? What comes first? The love for life or the love for Mother Nature? Ooh, that's a deep one. Like those really like, I mean, it's not quite chicken and egg, but it definitely, what is love if not love for life? And what is life if not nature? And most of us learn about love through loving our mothers and our mothers' love. So these existential questions that come to us when we're in the rebellion are something that are really important, actually, I think, for us to ponder on. There's something that brings us back home to what really matters to us. What else have we got here? Is a protest a good first date? You know, I would say it is a good first date. In 2010, I was kettled in Parliament Square on one of the student fees protests, and a chap that I knew from my uni, who before that we were just running around and having some fun and making some sort of like theatrical interactions at the protest, we ended up like stuck together and clinging to each other for dear life for 9 hours in the freezing cold, singing Bohemian Rhapsody over and over and over again. And then we ended up going out for 2 years and he's still one of my best friends. So I would say, yes, the rebellion is a good place for a first date. I mean, it's all good cracking jokes, but actually there are times when the rebellion has been really tough. Tuesday was one of those days. As many of you will know that at 8 o'clock on Monday night, 8 or 9, the police very suddenly said that we had to clear Trafalgar Square. They gave the rebels half an hour to pack up everything, and suddenly they overnight issued this Section 14 London-wide ban on the rebellion, and it meant that on Tuesday morning waking up we literally didn't know what our legal status was for our human rights, and it meant that the mood here at Trafalgar Square and also at Vauxhall Pleasure Gardens, which had been a sanctuary for so many rebels, was very, very low.
Fantastic.
I'm at Vauxhall Pleasure Gardens, which is a scene of chaos. Just yesterday, this place was a sea of rebel tents. You can see the marks that are still here on the grass where those tents were until just a few hours ago, when the police decided that they were going to come in and clear this ground that has been a safe haven for so many rebels over the last few days. I really want to point to all of this matter and material that belongs to human beings that is just in piles everywhere. We don't know who any of this stuff belongs to. We don't know if those people are in jail right now. We don't know if they're protesting at other places. basically overnight the police have just decided that they're going to completely shift tactics. They're going to make it basically illegal for people to just stand together in a park.
It's upsetting because here was a peaceful site for peaceful protest to continue, and overnight that whole game has changed to state that we aren't allowed to protest and that this is now an illegal operation.
Suddenly, I don't know, people feel very lost, and I don't know where I stand. A lot of people don't know where they stand. It's quite scary.
I personally feel actually okay if we have to go. I'm very thankful for having been here. I'm thankful for this space, for having allowed us to be here for the time we have. But I think if we actually get ourselves without a camp now, based around London, with in some space, safe spaces dotted around, we can focus 100% on actions.
Vauxhall Pleasure Gardens has been a sanctuary for rebels who are just seeking some rest from the more bold and assertive actions taking place around the city. We were at Trafalgar Square earlier on today where the atmosphere was a bit more tense.
It's a very bad message for Britain to be sending out to the world, the home of democracy, the mother of all parliaments supposedly, that we're going to abolish the right to assemble and to peacefully protest whenever we want. It's very worrying. And I think it really underscores a key part of the XR message, because the XR message has never just been about the climate and ecological emergency. It's always been about also democracy.
So as you can see, two very different moods within the movement today. Here at Vauxhall Pleasure Gardens, subdued, cooperative. And there at Trafalgar Square, determined, intense, but active. All of us now in this country are wondering where our human rights stand with regards to public assembly and the right to protest. And my message to the global Extinction Rebellion movement is that we won't forget our piece in holding human rights for all.
I'm outside Buckingham Palace, and a very inspiring throng of exiled grandparents are gathered singing songs, calling for the government to act in this great emergency, this climate and ecological emergency. Many of them, as you can see, are with their grandchildren here. And whilst the mood is full of song, full of love, there is a quiet desperation in everyone's actions here.
We're gonna turn this system round. In the voice of my great-granddaughter, climate justice now. Extinction Rebellion!
We're in such a crisis, we've got to be here because somebody's got to be a whistleblower, and that's what I think we are, we're whistleblowers, or prophets, depends what you think. but we're telling the truth. We're trying to tell the truth, and the reason we're having to do that is because those who should have been doing it haven't.
Why am I here? Because I have 7 grandchildren, of whom Eliza is one, and I love them all very much. And I don't want to see their lives, think their lives might be curtailed by the idiocy of this generation.
In the words of my great-granddaughter, climate justice now.
So grandparents have gathered here outside the gates of Buckingham Palace, singing the songs that we all know so well, how they are rising, they're being the voice of their great-granddaughters, and they're singing with so much heart and so much peace that we can only hope that their song reaches those who have the power to really do something that can help all of us. This has been Sarah Zoltash for XRTV.
That particular action had me crying from Buckingham Palace all the way up to Trafalgar Square. To see elders sitting down outside the gates of the Queen's residence begging for the lives of their grandchildren was just something I could hardly bear. My family are from the Middle East, and in the Middle East we really look after our old folk, and the idea that grandparents have to be there in action, on the streets, in the cold, in the rain, is something that I really want all of you at home to just take into your hearts. This is what the rebellion is about. This is about people coming out to look after the people that they love. Talking about people that we love, where's Ronan? I've lost him. I don't know if he's been arrested. I don't know what's going on. If any of you see him over the next 24 hours, please write into the comment thread. And in the meantime, send your prayers that he is okay. Send your prayers for every single one of these rebels as the action continues over the next few days. In the meantime, this is Sarah Zoltash on our own for XRTV.